Another movie from an old TV show.
What are you gonna do?
Walk out.
They go where no one else dares. They do what no one else can. So when there's only one chance to get it right, they're the ones to call.
Who are you people?
Damn, I hate to fly.
But they only answer to me. My name is Charlie.
Meet the most elite crime-fighting force ever assembled. They've got techniques you never dreamed of.
You know, I signed that release waiver, so you can just feel free to stick things in my slot.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
Meet Roger Corwin. He's planning to steal a new software that can trace a voice signal anywhere in the world.
If this got into the wrong hands, it'd be the end of privacy.
That's where you come in, angels.
Charlie, would that mean undercover?
I'll leave that up to you, Bosley.
Oh, boy.
Columbia Pictures presents
$1,000, the girl catches him.
a new breed of knockout.
Hi, Pete, how are you?
I'm good. I just.
Could you hold on a second? It's just been kind of crazy this week at work.
Cameron Diaz,
I'm like a virgin, you know? I mean, it's my first time. Here.
Drew Barrymore,
I figured we could have a little breakfast.
I have to go. A little help?
Lucy Liu,
At your service.
and Bill Murray.
I love fire.
Get some action. Charlie's Angels.
And that's kicking your...
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of That Movie Show. Mike Wendt and Eddie McCabe. This week, we are taking a look at the 2000 reboot of Charlie's Angels. We figured, the 2019 reboot has caused so much stir amongst the intrawebs, with Elizabeth Banks saying that, it's bombing because men don't want to go watch women, do actiony stuff.
Right.
So we're going to prove her otherwise.
Yeah. I would have to say that this 2000 reboot flies in the face of that.
100%.
So I,
Have you seen the new one?
I have not seen the new one.
I have not either. I had no interest when I saw the trailer to see the new one. Yet I saw this and the sequel in theaters.
Right. I did as well. Well, maybe I didn't see Charlie's Angels, but I definitely saw it. I saw the second one in theaters. The thing with this and the current 2019 reboot is that I believe, from everything I've read, it takes itself too seriously.
Bingo! I was going to say the same thing.
So I can talk about this to a movie I did see with RoboCop.
Yep.
RoboCop, when that got rebooted recently within the past 2 or 3 years, it took itself way too seriously. And I think that that's the reason why this movie bombed, or that movie bombed, right? Sure. And so instead of leaning into the camp and the fun that the original, had, they were like, we have to make a real action movie. And so I think that Charlie's Angels did kind of the same thing, where they tried to make it this is going to be the female James Bond sort of action hero, and the 2000 version from Jump Street. From Jump Street, it's, we're basically just redoing a long episode of the TV show, all the way down to having the intro. They just did the intro.
They just did the intro.
Of the original movie. And it's just this is capturing the spirit of the source material that people identify with and like.
my thought when I sat down to watch this, I was not excited. And I think I even said it on our Orgasmo episode, my feelings towards McG and all that. But I was not looking forward to it. And I think it's one of those things that I didn't remember the movie. I remembered the legacy of it. And it's not a great legacy. And then after watching it, I was like, this movie is way better than it deserves to be. Like, it was an enjoyable watch. It was also relatively quick. It wasn't a long movie either.
Right. It's about an hour and a half.
Yep.
And so you're in, you're out. The pace of the movie is really good. We move from thing to thing to thing to thing.
Which helps when you're not taking yourself too seriously. You don't give a shit about diving into everybody's backstories. It was like, what, a 30-second montage?
Yeah,
Lucy Liu did this, Cameron Diaz did this, Drew Barrymore did this. Okay, moving on.
Right. I think that it definitely, in retrospect, is more fun and endearing based on the timing, right? It's a 2000s action movie, so the Matrix influence is abundant in this, which, maybe could have been like, ugh, at the time because the Matrix was so new. But looking back at it now, it's like, oh, that's cute. This is a cute thing that you're doing. The fight sequences, for two actors that you don't think as martial arts actors, in Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore.
They say Crispin Glover.
Three. And Crispin Glover. They do a great job of holding it together. Sam Rockwell, crushing it as always. I don't think that man's in a bad movie.
There was two people that I completely forgot. Sam Rockwell, I forgot was in this, and Tim Curry, I forgot was in. When Tim Curry showed up, I'm like, what?
Yeah, right?
My brain purged that. Let's do it. I'm all in.
Oh, it was great. And he's not the bad guy. Beautiful. Kind of.
He's not the baddest guy.
Yeah, he's not the baddest guy.
He's not the worst guy. Let me get the details out of the way. Charlie's Angels was released on November 3rd in the year 2000. It had a budget. They had a budget of $93 million. It made back $264.1 million at the box office. As I mentioned, it was directed by McG. It was written. You know what? No. It was directed by Joseph McGinty Nickel. I'm not going to say his dick name. It was written by Ryan Rowe, Ed Solomon, John August, obviously based on Charlie's Angels, the original television series. Stars Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Bill Murray, Sam Rockwell, Tim Curry, Kelly Lynch, Crispin Glover, cameo by LL Cool J right in the opening minutes.
Yeah. Setting up a backdoor pilot. Setting up a backdoor pilot to NCIS LA.
Obviously. And yeah, it was, as I said, I felt it was a much better movie than A, I remembered, and B, it deserved to be.
Yeah.
It also, like I said, spawned a 2003 sequel, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. God, that's such a Speed 2 cruise control type of title.
Yeah, right.
Which it made roughly the same. Let me just go back and check that one. It made roughly the same money. It made 200. It made just a shy less. This one made 264. The sequel made 259 at the box office, but it did cost 120 million as opposed to the original costing only 93. So people's salaries went up. They made a little bit less money, profit, whatever. One of the cool things was that right before it started filming, Drew Barrymore bought the screen rights for Charlie's Angels, which basically, since she owned the rights to it, the box office coming back earned her about $40 million for the first film and $80 million for the second film. So
good for her.
She got herself a payday. Good for her. Let's jump into the movie.
Yeah, of course. Right away, CGI really dated. Really, that CGI plane, very dated. Also, casual racism on the plane.
Racism, sexism. There was a lot of fat shaming. It was a different time. I'm not going to say I mean, look, I was alive. I was 20 years old in 2000. Yeah, That's pretty much par for the course. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, of course.
In the year 2000, this movie was as PG-13 as it was going to get, despite the fact that Drew Barrymore's tits were basically everywhere in every scene.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
The push-up bras and cleavage suits were just like all about it. Again, that's what I wanted to talk about right off the bat. I talked about it in my Hustlers review, which you can find on thatmovieshow.net. And it actually plays into the 2019 reboot, which neither one of us has seen. But it's in Hustlers, I mentioned, because we had just done Showgirls, I mentioned it was a stripper movie, but it was shot from a woman's point of view, and you could tell the difference. Like Showgirls was obviously Paul Verhoeven, and Hustlers had a female director, and you could tell the differences by what they're shooting and how they're shooting. Well, the 2019 version, obviously directed by Elizabeth Banks. This one directed by one more time, Joseph McGinty Nicol, and it shows. It's definitely a female action movie from a male's point of view.
Yeah, there's a lot of
cleavage from Drew Barrymore, a lot of ass shaking from Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu basically goes full dominatrix on an entire classroom of people.
Yeah, she does. A bunch of nerds.
Nerds.
That's what they like.
I mean, it really was a movie about you can trick any man into anything if you're an attractive woman.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
Or you're Bill Murray.
Right. Who was delightful in this? He was delightful. Yeah, the movie just definitely plays into its strengths. It's very aware of what it is. We're from the Jump Street. It's a big action set piece, that I think would fit right at home on a lesser scale to the TV show. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're not jumping out of airplanes on the TV show, but some sort of undercover op that gets the guy, that's like the bad guy. And I'm all for it. I mean, you get to see what everybody's strengths are within the movie and everything like that. And then it sets it up with, who each person is and what they bring to the team. They function well as a unit. And that definitely sets the tone for the rest of this movie.
Yeah, it was so basically like Cameron Diaz was like the nerdy tomboy type. Lucy Liu was kind of the aristocratic because she was riding horses and stuff, also very smart and bomb savvy. Right. And Drew Barrymore was the rebel punk, action junkie type of chick. And it was funny because even in the sequel, we realized how aristocratic Lucy Liu's character is because her dad is John Cleese.
Yeah, yes.
Fucking John Cleese in the sequel. So
that's true.
Cool. So we jump in, and the Angels are tasked with their case to find Eric Knox, who is Sam Rockwell, who is a year 2000 software genius, because everybody was a software genius in these movies in 2000 because the internet was a thing. It was a new thing at the time. He created a revolutionary voice recognition system called Siri. It was called Red Star. And basically it sets it up so you believe Tim Curry is the bad guy.
Yes.
He plays Roger Corwin, not Roger Corman. He is the bad guy that's set up. And he seems like he's going to try to steal Red Star, this satellite technology, and he's going to use the Thin Man, Crispin Glover, who is just a creep in every sense of the word, to basically get the technology, get the info, get the voice recognition stuff, so they can, I don't know what they wanted to do with it. It was just new software.
It was just
to explain what it did. It was just like, we can mask people's voices. So, I don't know. They were basically trying to be the Jerky Boys in 2000. We can make phone calls.
I think the idea was, it was just like, we're going to try and steal the technology and go to market first.
Gotcha.
So like that would be it. I would have to imagine it had something to do with business.
So we get their big party. We get the Corwin party where they're all dressing up and doing their parts. Bosley has his microphone tooth, which is interesting.
Yeah, when they go to that awesome Japanese penthouse.
Yep. And he has to, when he's talking to Tim Curry, he, of course, the microphone is in his mouth, so he's just kind of very close open mouth talking at him.
I do like that they like somehow become best friends. Like sort of.
How could you not? You can see it right away. Peter Venkman and Dr. Frankenfurter, they are like that. They are tight. They are boys.
Clearly, they of course. I love that they're just trying to find the Thin Man played by Crispin Glover, and they cut back to Tim Curry and they're just sumo wrestling.
Yep. It was goofy as shit. And you have to imagine it was just one of those things where it's just like, just let them go. Let them roll the camera. Let the two of them do some stuff.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Just let it happen. Just
Bill wants 2 sumo suits. Fuck it. We have plenty of money. Let's do this.
Yeah, we can do it in the budget.
What can those cost? $30? Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll rent them from a party store. Who cares? Keep the receipts.
We also establish the Angels' love interests, who are all pretty popular cameos, especially for the time. Matt LeBlanc is Lucy Liu's boyfriend. He's also playing an action actor, an action star.
Very fun. Very fun.
Luke Wilson, who is a bartender at this party, is Cameron Diaz's new love interest. He really shined in that Soul Train scene.
He really did.
He really did. The scene, it was goofy as a bag of hammers, but he was really good in it. And
Tom Green.
Drew Barrymore, who was married to Tom Green at the time. This fell within that year that they were actually married. And he showed up as her boyfriend, the Chad.
The Chad.
Which was basically just let Tom Green do Tom Green stuff in 2 scenes.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't get it, and I was not a fan.
So his original TV show, and it's like the stuff that MTV basically ported over that he was doing on Canadian public access, I thought was funny for the time. It was less violent Jackass stuff, which was very popular in that late 90s, early 2000s era. Then it was just like, all right, much like Jackass, the novelty wore off. They became too popular. They couldn't fool anybody. The pranks were just recycled crap that they had already done. And then eventually, again, very parallel with Jackass, he got old.
Yeah.
Got old. And you can't be the prank guy when you're, 40.
Yeah, right.
You just
100%.
can't. And the funny thing is, when I was doing the Carson and Kennedy show back in 2010, 2011, he was a guest. He came in. And it was, for me, for someone who loves awkward fringe humor, it was a wonderful interview because we were recording the interview and we were going to play it back later in the show.
Okay.
And it was tough because it wasn't like we were live on the air.
Oh, and I'm losing you.
We weren't live on the air. We were recording the interview, but we had to get back live on the air. We were playing songs, and we added a couple extra songs so we could record the Tom Green interview and play it back later. Well, we realized that we had been technically off the air, like the show hadn't come back from songs for now about 15 minutes.
Okay.
It was hard to wrap up because he had to leave so we could just do the rest of our radio show without him so we could keep saying Tom Green is coming up. But he wouldn't leave the studio and he kept getting really awkward about it. And then when it came down to you have to leave. Like, oh yeah, we're done. And he was like, oh, you want me I can go on the radio with you. We can like, I'm here to go on the radio. Let's go on the radio. And I knew what he was doing. He was being a cunt. And it was just very awkward because they didn't want to piss him off and basically say, no, get the fuck out of here. We've already done the interview. We have to edit the interview and get it on the air later.
That's so funny.
Then he just started like picking up and moving stuff around the studio. Like I remember he just took the stapler and put it in his jacket pocket and walked out. He was just like taking things and moving things.
Okay, yeah.
But again, it was like, dude, you're in your mid 40s. It's like,
it's not funny anymore.
We talked about your comedy thing. Go.
Yeah, get out of here.
Go. That was my weird and not very well told Tom Green story.
It's exactly what Tom Green would have wanted.
Exactly. It was very hard to describe because it was very hard to get out of.
Right. Yeah.
But Tom Green is the Chad in this movie.
He's the Chad.
He's the Chad. on his
Was it-
houseboat.
Yeah, was it the eggs? No, it wasn't the eggs. Was it the Chad? Maybe it was the Chad.
Might have been the Chad.
So funny. So
So
goddamn funny.
So 2000.
Yes. The other one too is, and I know we're on a weird MTV tangent. I didn't like Andy Milonakis either because it felt like he
Never
was
liked
trying to be Tom Green. And
he really came across as someone who was trying way too hard to cash in on something that was on its downslope.
yeah, right.
Like the jackass, the Tom Green, the prank shit was on a downslope, and it felt like he was trying to jump in on, try to catch that last train of prank dollars. Where he should have done is been the first person to do what became Tosh.0.
Yeah, right. The ridiculousness.
Where he should have just been commenting on that stuff, because he was originally like a web kid, right? He was a YouTube person, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it was YouTube, but it was definitely
whatever it was back
MySpace
then.
or whatever. But
I wasn't a fan either.
Yeah. But you know who I am a fan of? And it's Sam Rockwell.
Absolutely.
That man is a chameleon.
He can do no wrong. He really can. I think you said it. I don't know if he's been in a bad movie, and if it was a bad movie, he was great in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also he's one of those who gave one of my favorite Academy Award speeches when he won. It was Best Supporting Actor for, was it 3 Billboards or was it the year before? Was it 3 Billboards? Which
I believe.
That fucking movie was amazing. But his speech was basically what you want every actor to say, especially ones that haven't won an award like this and that have always been like the second or third on the call sheet type, where it's like, he's like, this is awesome. I think it's exactly how he started. He's like, man, I have done every shit job in this industry, and now I'm here. It's what every actor practices in the mirror, winning an award type of thing. And then you get up there, and it's there was no pretension, there was no politics. It was just a guy who's reached the pinnacle of his craft, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and I mean, he just shines in this. I mean, he's been that guy for so many years, and I think he's finally cashing in on his due. I mean, I can't sing his praises higher. He's just crushed it in literally every role. Jojo Rabbit, he is phenomenal in Jojo Rabbit. The amazing juxtaposition that he has. There's this triangle that goes on in that movie, and you have to see it if you haven't seen it. You got to, and we have to do it for this show because it's my favorite movie of the year. Wow. That isn't Avengers Endgame. But he is a Nazi officer, and he lives in the real world as a Nazi officer. And that's juxtaposed by Jojo's mother, who is just a woman trying to help get Jews out of Germany. Mm-hmm. And Jojo in the middle has his imaginary best friend that's Adolf Hitler, and he believes everything that the Nazi propaganda machine is feeding him. And it's just so interesting to basically watch Sam Rockwell just play this character with such nuance of I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? I'm a Nazi soldier, but I'm just a guy. And, his character arc is fantastic. He's also subtly gay, and it's the funniest thing in the entire movie. Because I forget the actor's name. Alfie Allen is the actor's name. Allen, yeah. Yeah, and that's his gay lover the entire time. Oh, it's so good. So
Jojo Rabbit has to be put on the schedule.
Jojo Rabbit does have to be. When it's Oscar season and that movie is going to get nominated for something, it's fantastic. It's my favorite movie of the year.
All right, we're gonna have to check it out. So Sam Rockwell in this is so he starts off as basically that nervous software engineer type of guy who's, the big corporations are trying to kidnap him and they're trying to steal his shit. They're trying to do all this stuff. So they basically lure the angels into a trap, where he's locked in some, hostile type basement, chained to a chair and shit.
And the floor's wet.
Yeah, it's all weird.
It's kinky, and I'm into it.
It's weird. It's 2000. It's a different time. But they catch him, they get him, and they bring him back to their safe house or some shit like that. Kelly Lynch kind of plays
his handler.
At first, yeah, kind of. Like his, I don't want to say assistant because she definitely has control over his life type of thing, but handler would probably be a better thing. So they all get back together and they're trying to figure out where the software is and this and that and et cetera, et cetera. And Drew Barrymore is tasked with securing his apartment. And she does so by fucking him.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. In the most PG-13 of ways. They start with strawberries and then making out and then falling off of a kitchen island. And then we cut to them, coming out of bed, finishing up.
Yeah, he's gone. She wraps herself in a sheet.
Yeah, like the quickest toga maker ever.
Yeah, like just straight up.
I can barely get a towel around my ass, and she's already like stitched up a toga.
Yeah, she's ready to go to a Phi Kappa Theta party. You know what I'm saying? Toga.
So it's revealed while she's in her toga, through a course of very expositional turn of phrasing, that he's the bad guy.
Yeah, basically,
Sam Rockwell,
simultaneously,
shocker, is actually playing the bad guy in this.
Yeah, simultaneously, while this is going on, Lucy Liu is in Matt LeBlanc's trailer, and that gets shot up by the bad guys, and then Cameron Diaz.
Very Lethal Weapon 2-ish.
Yeah, very Lethal Weapon 2-ish.
Or Loaded Weapon Part 1.
Ooh,
that just hit Netflix. I'm gonna have to check that out. Emilio Estevez playing Mel Gibson.
Very fun. I like that. And what's the other one? It's
Tim Curry's in that
Top Secret. Top Secret.
Who the fuck was that?
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. Yeah. So that gets shot to shit.
Yeah, right. That gets shot to shit. And then while that's going on, Cameron Diaz is at Soul Train. Yep. She's at Soul Train, and she gets attacked by an assassin. Yep. And she kicks the crap out of the assassin and finds out that Sam Rockwell is the guy that sent him.
She did the foot up on the throat, and then he would say something, and she would kick, and then that. Who just did that? That's been in a movie recently.
Is it?
Oh my god! Yeah,
that's very funny.
I don't know what it is. I was gonna say Deadpool, but it definitely wasn't Deadpool. But it was in that vein of comedic action where they got his pin the guy up against the wall
with your foot,
throat, ask a question. Gives the wrong answer, pulls the foot away, smack, and puts the foot right back.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
She's a ninja. I believe they also killed Tim Curry because this is definitely after the race car scene.
Yeah, they killed Tim Curry.
Where Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz gets into a Formula One car. And chases Crispin Glover around the track while Drew Barrymore is jacking off a guy in a car, and Lucy Liu's doing something with the trunk of the car. I don't know. That was the scene where Barrymore's tits were just everywhere.
Ouch.
I mean, it was they were very cleavagey to start with, and then she unzipped that top basically down to her navel, and it was just
yeah.
Literally what the guy did, basically. He's I will tell you anything. I'll just sit here and, oh, you want to, oh, wow, she's licking the steering wheel. Oh, because it's a PG-13 movie, and that's what we have to do. She has to lick the steering wheel instead of grabbing his dick.
Innuendo.
Sure.
Yeah. And so they all
usually subtle.
They all rendezvous back at the, so she tries to warn Sam Rockwell.
They killed Tim Curry at some point
in this sequence. Yeah,
okay. It was all in this part. This is basically like the Godfather kill montage.
Baptism scene. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
All right,
it's the baptism scene.
So they blow up the safe house as well because they called. They were going to meet Bosley at his safe house. That blows up. They find out they kept Bosley because his laptop has. Okay, it came back to me. Sorry, I watched the movie a week ago.
I know. I know.
So they had to break in Mission Impossible style to this fucking safe room where she had to wear the white cat suit and do the flippy dippy shit all over the place, and then they had to link up
to the satellite,
to Tim Curry's company's thing to see if they're stealing the Red Star shit. And then that information is all downloaded to Bosley's laptop. It's all coming back to me.
Yeah,
and
right.
We find out that Rockwell and Lynch actually want to steal that company's shit. And they're actually not stealing Red Star. So they basically hired the Angels to play covert spies for the bad guys. And
because the idea is that they're going to use Red Star, which will do the voice matching software. And then they need Tim Curry's satellite to find where Charlie is.
That's right, because this all goes back to just a revenge plot.
Yeah, like a weird out of nowhere, like, I'm actually just trying to kill your boss, who you've never seen.
Charlie may or may not have been responsible for Sam Rockwell's dad's death in the war because they were friends.
Yeah, which is weird because what war? And how old are you?
The big war.
Oh, the big one.
The big one.
Yeah.
So then they had so they had the satellite, the GPS fucking Charlie,
right? And they have to have Bill Murray because Bill Murray's the only person that Charlie calls.
Correct.
So they didn't kill Bosley because of that.
Yes, and they think everyone's dead.
Right.
Because they shot Drew Barrymore out of a window, but instead she just fell naked down to two kids playing Nintendo.
Talking
comedy.
about boobs.
They were just talking about boobs, and all of a sudden she comes running up, comedy. And so she grabs their shit. They meet up at the safe house. Safe house blows up. All right, we're back.
Yeah. And so now they're like, oh, we got to find Bosley. And he has a very fun montage of him like just dying in prison. Like he's
because they lock him in a cell. And again, this is what I was saying. They probably just said, okay, let's roll. Go. Bill, you got 15 minutes. Do some stuff.
Yeah. And so it's so funny. He ends up playing catch, hitting his face, talking to a bird, building a soap desert eagle. Like
totally put on the soap gun.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he does all sorts of weird nonsense. But in playing
Bill Murray's out for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, very fun, hard to describe. Just watch it.
Right.
But then you find out that he, like, while playing baseball, hits his mouth, and that his transmitter is still working from his tooth, like his tooth implant.
Yep.
And so he's able to radio into the Angels by some like very fun like antenna nonsense that's happening on his head.
And because they're standing around the rubble of the exploded safe house, luckily the only thing that didn't get exploded was the speaker and computer that's attached to that, because convenience.
Yeah, plot convenience, but that's fine. I mean, it's based on a show from the 70s, so of course that's how this would work.
Right.
It's indestructible. Things were made better back then.
So they figure it out and they start formulating a plan to go get Bosley.
Yeah, because Cameron Diaz knows like some sort of bird, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Because of course she does. Again, of course she does. Have we passed the scene where Lucy Liu does the dominatrix and leads the class from outer?
Yeah, that's when they're stealing the stuff.
One of the did we talk about? Oh, okay, no, that was on the radio show. We talked about State and Maine. And I think even off air, we didn't even mention that Jim from The Office was an extra in it.
Yeah,
Melissa McCarthy's in this fucking movie.
Yeah, she is.
Like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, just a one-liner in this movie.
Yeah, so she shows up. They do their thing. Was that when they were in the white cat suit?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. They're dressed as guys.
Yeah. Which if you have the DVD or Blu-ray, there's a ton of just extended outtakes of them doing more guy shit. Like there's a whole sequence where they go to the men's room, which oddly is the exact same bathroom from The Shining.
Weird.
Yeah. And they just, they're just doing guy stuff. It's just, two girls dressed in drag doing guy stuff. It's
of course.
Cute. It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. But yeah, Lucy Liu in that sequence is just supposed to be some sort of like corporate trainer or something, but basically just sexually just intimidates a bunch of men into like distracting them for a while the other two go off and steal the Red Star stuff or whatever.
Basically.
Because,
again, the plot of this movie is men will do anything if a hot woman tells them to. And
very true.
Smiles at them. That's it.
Yeah. Very true.
Or in this case, doesn't smile and just cracks a riding crop that she has because that's what corporate trainers carry with them.
It depends on the corporate training, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe Disney employs this type of method, but to each their own.
Yeah, no, it's a straight-on whip.
More of a universal thing, but whatever. Yes. So I think we moved to the castle.
Yeah, they're going to storm the castle to rescue Bosley and stop them from murdering Charlie.
Which includes more wire kung fu.
Yeah, more wire kung fu. There's so much
they do the fucking scuba scene. That's right. So because to get there, they need the Chad.
They do need the Chad.
Boat them over to the island. The Chad's boat is going too fucking slow, and the Chad is just being the Chad. Tom Green's Tom Greening it up, and they've had enough of it. So they're just like, we can swim faster than this motherfucker. So they throw on scuba suits because they have them, and
they also didn't tell Tom Green what they were doing, and so he's just weirding out the whole time.
Again, he's just Tom Greening as all fuck. They do the scuba thing. They get to the island. Here's what I found kind of funny. So when they get up on shore and they start disrobing from the scuba shit, mind you, all of them these scuba suits are very low cut cleavage suits, which isn't practical for scuba diving, but whatever. And they literally strip down. You can see them like walking in the distance, like their tops are completely naked, and they're pulling them down. But then they cut to them finishing, zipping up the suits that they're about to wear. They're the same fucking black suits.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They literally stripped down on the beach to get dressed in the same shit, just without the masks.
Of course.
I'm like, holy shit, how much PG-13 TNA are we throwing into this thing just for the sake of, show their tits again?
I know. It is so weird because that and the like
it's a movie through the eyes of a male director.
There's a lot of like them caring about, like, Cameron Diaz cares a lot about Luke Wilson as like a guy that likes her. Yep. And it's just like that feels like a lot. It was,
and the way she was doing it, again, it seemed very juvenile.
Yeah.
Which, when broken down, feels very. This is what a man thinks a woman does when a guy likes her.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Correct.
What Joseph McGinty Nickel thinks.
Yeah.
A woman does when a guy likes her. Also, like I said when we started, a lot of Cameron Diaz ass shaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dancing.
It's like, I think we meet her character. She pops out of bed in her Spider-Man underoos, starts literally just watching herself in the mirror, shaking her ass. FedEx guy shows up. She opens the door, nips out, fucking underwear on, still dancing.
Yeah.
Gives him a straight boner. He's like, hey, thanks for this, and walks away. And I'm like, this is like...
She straight up says, I signed the thing. You can just stick it in my slot.
Stick it in my slot. Yeah, because, sex jokes, folks.
Innuendo.
But
yeah, so we end up getting into the castle.
Sorry.
They end up storming the castle. and once they storm the castle, they capture Cameron Diaz. Not Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore. And they tie her to a chair. And they're like, and the comical fight scene of like, I'm going to, you're going to help me get out of here. And then I'm going to moonwalk out of here after I beat all of you up.
Two things. Did they give her because this is the directly same scene that Arnold did in True Lies, but he was injected with truth serum.
Yes.
Was she, or did she just mouth off?
I think she just mouthed off.
Okay. Number two. Not a moonwalk, more of a cabbage patch.
Yeah, I was really, really disappointed.
Running Man. It was not.
Yeah, I was really disappointed that wasn't a moonwalk at all.
Especially because they paid for a fucking Michael Jackson song to wrap up that whole scene.
Yeah, and it's just like you physically couldn't do it, like even jokingly poorly.
Look, Cameron Diaz learned a whole dance routine for fucking Soul Train. I think they could teach Cameron Diaz how to moonwalk out of a room.
Yeah, you are 100% right.
I mean, who was the producer on this piece of shit? Oh, it's her. Okay, so all the while, Lucy Liu is trying to defuse a bomb, or no, she's trying to redirect a satellite. She's doing something with a computer in a wall.
She's trying to stop them from figuring out where Charlie is.
Right, so she's trying to intercept the satellite thing. All the while, she's in a fight with Crispin Glover, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then
Creepy
Cameron
hair sniff.
Diaz is fighting Kelly Lynch.
Yes.
Which is funny that she is in this movie with Bill Murray, who, if you go back into our Roadhouse episode, which is in the archives at thatmovieshow.net, you'll know that every time Roadhouse, which stars Kelly Lynch, is on TV, Bill Murray picks up the phone, calls Kelly Lynch's husband, and says, "Hey, bro, I'm watching your wife fuck Patrick Swayze," and then hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now they're,
everybody wants to fuck Dalton.
6 degrees of prank phone calls right here in Charlie's Angels convening.
Yeah, so basically they all end up kind of failing, right, for the most part, because Sam Rockwell ends up getting the location of Charlie, and he takes off in an Apache helicopter that he apparently knows how to fly.
As you do.
And yeah, they, through chain rope, they
basically kind of did the Samoan ending of Hobbs and Shaw, and only instead of The Rock pulling a helicopter down with his bare arm, they extend up type of thing. It's actually more like Luke and the AT-AT in Empire. They propel themselves up. Yeah, that's
so they end up getting this sequence. I actually do appreciate a lot. I do like it. They get up onto the Apache, and Lucy Liu basically like changes the bomb to heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, because you can do that like midair.
Yeah. Also, you can fire a missile and have it bang a Yui, But
These are smart weapons.
Yeah, smart weapons. But it's just so funny because Sam Rockwell is just like, yeah, I'm going to blow up this guy and never confront him. I'm just going to blow him up.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? Why would you look a man in the eye?
Yeah, why?
Say, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Oh, man, I watched an old episode of Criminal Minds, and every single time that he showed up on screen, that's all I could say. It was just I looked at him and I go, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
It made watching the first few seasons of Homeland very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very serious show.
Very serious show.
So they blow up his house.
Yeah, they blow up his house.
Guess what? He wasn't there.
They don't blow up his house.
Okay.
They use the missile, change it to heat seeking, so before it hits his house, it bangs a U-turn and hits the helicopter.
You're right, because that's how missiles work.
Yeah, that's exactly how missiles work. And so from what appeared to be like midday, they end up like all passing out and washing up on the beach at like sundown or something. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so once that ended up happening, they then go into Charlie's house where they find out that Charlie is missing.
Yep. And the speaker's still there. And he's still babbling on that speaker. Did you freeze?
You froze.
You
I didn't
froze.
know. You froze.
You froze.
Frozen 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I thought you were making a face. I'm like, what? This is a long dramatic pause. What are you doing, weirdo?
Yeah, no, they end up going into Charlie's house, but he's not there, and they never end up getting to meet Charlie.
Right, because that was a big thing. This father figure of theirs, they were finally going to get to meet him. They've only known him through a speaker, but the speaker's there. And then we cut to, I think we just cut to them on the beach, right?
Yeah,
just getting shit
they're
faced.
all
Bill Murray.
celebrating. Yeah, they're just celebrating a job well done.
And then they get a phone call again from Charlie, who is like a creep, just kind of
hanging out in the back
behind them. He's it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be over here peeping.
Yeah, I'm just gonna peep them toms.
And so we end with them doing a little romp in the ocean with Bill Murray. And, roll credits.
Yeah, roll credits. And the movie is fast. It is easy. It is simple, and it's fun.
It really was. It was much more fun than it deserved to be, and I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed it upon rewatching it, because like I said when we started, I remembered the legacy and of what it is. You know what I mean? I remember being like, oh yeah, they did that. That was a cheeseball movie, but that's the best parts of it. It's supposed to be a cheeseball movie.
You know, this movie I think aged well. I think that if you drank it, you drank that vintage back in 2000, it was too goofy for what the movies were at the time, because it was too similar to action movies at the time, but not executed as well. Like it tried to do the Matrix slow-mo kung fu thing, but it doesn't do it as well. Right. But 20 years later, that's the best part about it.
The when they're fighting Crispin Glover in the alley, and I mean, there's a lot of just cringy moments, but I think the biggest one was when they do it's the poster pose where Cameron Diaz gets down in like her crouching tiger pose, and then Lucy Liu, and she's flanked by Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore, and they get the wire legs just extend up like fucking wings, and they stand there, and I'm like, the fuck are you all posing like Japanese wrestlers for? Fight!
I know.
This motherfucker is gonna kill you.
It was parodied very, very well in Scary Movie 2.
Yes, it was.
It was parodied that whole sequence. Very fun when they did that.
But in a movie like this, that weird shit just works.
Yeah, it just works. Again, I think, like I said, in 20 years later, I think that it just flows better, and it tastes better because you're not taking it so seriously in the moment. Yeah.
So that's Charlie's Angels 2000.
Oh.
Coming up next week, it's been pretty much the talk of the internet, so we are going to cover it. The Irishman, 2019, yes. Martin Scorsese's 3.5-hour Netflix epic. Have you watched it yet?
I have watched it.
As have I. Did you sit through the credits to the 20-minute conversation afterwards?
No, I did not. I didn't realize that was a thing.
That is a thing. I learned with the Dave Chappelle's last comedy special that apparently Netflix is just tagging some of these things with extra shit. So the trick was, because when a Netflix movie ends, almost immediately they pop up, watch this next. They almost bully you into watching something else unrelated. But if they don't, and they're sitting there letting the credits play out, that means something is coming up at the end. And with Chappelle, it was another 20 minutes of stand-up. And with this one, it was a 20-minute conversation with De Niro, Scorsese, Pesci, and Pacino. And they went into the making of it. They showed comparisons to the de-aging technology and stuff. It was a really, really cool conversation, which added another 20 minutes onto a 3.5-hour movie.
Yeah, of course.
But we are going to dive headfirst into The Irishman next week. Thank you for joining us for this episode of That Movie Show. Follow us on social media at Mike Wendt, at the Eddie McCabe, hashtag That Movie Show. Our Christmas watch along is coming up, so let us know what you want us to watch and review live. Oof, live.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Pile of hot garbage are we going to watch this Christmas season? And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/thatmovieshowtv, and the website thatmovieshowtv, where not only you can get our video reviews, you can get our audio reviews. And if you subscribe to the audio feed on any podcasting app, every Saturday morning, you will get our radio show as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.